Hey everyone, welcome. In this video, we're diving into the thrilling world of Korean dramas. Get ready for exciting summaries, unforgettable stories, and must-watch recommendations. Don't miss out, like, subscribe, and join us for more amazing content. Let's get started.
Miss Night and Day, episodes 7 to 8. Our Night and Day show reaches its halfway mark this week and locks in the results of our Week 2 bet. Depending on where you cast your lot, you might be right about the next character to figure out our heroine's secret and the category under which Mr. Red Herring/Red Flag falls. The week resumes with Mi Jin, our commander-in-chief of the beer-chugging prevention squad, throwing a chicken thigh to stop Ji-woong from drinking the spiked beer on his undercover date. The distraction is semi-effective, but what really crashes the beer party, aside from Mi Jin spitting in the drink, is her girlfriend who caught her boyfriend on a date with another woman act. LOL. Dragged back and forth like a rag doll, Ji-woong is torn between Mi Jin and the fentanyl supplier's girlfriend until Mr. Supplier bursts into the restaurant to add to the chaos. This scene is straight out of those fictional Mac Jang shows we see drama characters watch on TV. LOL. It turns out that Mr. Supplier is the club thug from the other night, and he and his girlfriend get arrested. Ji-woong is curious as to why Mi Jin is a common denominator at the club and the restaurant, but she can't exactly explain why she was at both locations. Sometimes, not saying things can lead to misunderstandings, Ji-woong says, but since everyone has their own reasons, he promises to wait until she can tell him everything. Could you tell me everything? Mi Jin swings the ball back into his net, and she's pleased when he replies that he has never been the type to open up, but he thinks he might be able to do that with her. Naturally, Byung-duk assumes something is going on between Ji-woong and Mi Jin, after also running into Miss Night at the club and the restaurant, but Ji-woong refuses to give him the satisfaction of an answer. Soon is equally curious to know what Ji-woong thinks of Mi Jin, and she's quite excited when Byung-duk mentions that Ji-woong has never been romantically involved with a woman. But her excitement turns damp when a visitor to the prosecution office recognizes her as the real Im-soon. Mi Jin did say she resembles her aunt. Soon plays the "I'm sorry, you have the wrong person" card, and while this encounter with her aunt's colleague served to reveal that the real Soon used to work at Seohan Bank, it also means our Soon's cover identity is in crisis. Sure enough, one is still looking into Soon, and the news that there are no records of her aside from a cancelled missing persons report from years ago makes him curious enough to trail her again. Soon stops by a PC room after work, and by the time one arrives, it's Mi Jin he sees, with Soon's cardigan and bag strapped on her gaming chair. While a similar cardigan, bag, and keychain might not prove anything, Mi Jin and Soon having an identical scar on the leg is a different story. To confirm his suspicions, Chief Inspector 1 checks the CCTV footage from the first time he trailed after our heroine, and yes, Mi Jin is the young lady he saw riding Soon's bicycle. Welp, looks like the cat is out of the bag, even though our mysterious cat of transformation is still in the wind. Everyone at work, minus Ji-woong who can't be bothered, is invited to a not mandatory but totally mandatory company dinner, and the highlight of the evening is karaoke where Soon dazzles everyone within a pink performance. Lol. She's pretty disoriented afterwards, which is odd because she didn't drink as much, and one whisks her away before she's dragged off for another round of drinks. Soon ends up collapsing in his arms, but not before hearing him say that she has to leave because the sun will soon set. At the same time, Ji-woong shows up, thanks to the secret tracker on Mi Jin's phone, because an inebriated Soon called him with Mi Jin's number, and he assumed Mi Jin was in danger. While one's embrace prevents Ji-woong from witnessing her transformation, one still has to explain how he knows / what he's doing with an unconscious Mi Jin when they rush her to the ER. It's not a pleasant conversation because there's no love lost between Mr. Prosecutor and the idol singer he prosecuted for drug use. And Ji-woong is even more pissed when one inevitably reveals that Mi Jin's drowsiness began when she accidentally drank his water, which contained dissolved anxiety medication. Oops. When Mi Jin wakes up later on, she questions one about his "the sun will soon set" statement, and he admits that he knows her secret. even going as far as waiting outside her house the entire night to witness her transformation at sunrise after clocking the dual persona at the PC room. Wow! S for stalker. Secret-wise, there might be nothing much to worry about since one promises to keep his lips sealed. But health-wise, I'm not liking this sudden loss of energy and strange feeling that Mi-jin has started experiencing. I want to say it's nothing serious and it's just the day/night transformation taking a toll on her body. But then the doctor mentioned her unusually high white blood cell count, and now I'm worried. I do not trust K-dramas when it comes to things like this. To compound Mi-jin's woes, the drama does a villain reveal, acid assailant's instigator / the man watching soon in the bathroom at the company dinner / the owner of a car with the same 4 digits as the raincoat killer's number plate. And he's none other than the hospital director in turn, Baek Cheol, young Jae-sung. And worse, it's hinted that he might have a partner. Oh dear. Ji-woong comes to learn that Cheolgyu used to be director at Hwadong Medical Center, and this info seems to ring a bell to him. Flashing back to his unease the first time he saw Cheolgyu on the stairs at the office, our prosecutor checks the employee records and sees that Cheolgyu resumed a week after the acid attack as a convenient replacement for the AWOL intern, who has now been declared missing by his daughter. Ji-woong's spidey senses tell him there's something fishy about Mr. Hospital Director, and it's investigation time. Enter Soon, aka Ms. I've lived in Seohan for a long time, and I can easily become friends with Cheolgyu to fish out information. SMH. Soon gets a no, thanks, from Ji-woong, but our resident danger magnet goes on to share the AWOL intern is actually missing. News to the other interns. Detective intern perks up on hearing this because the one case he was never able to solve during his time on the force is the missing women's case, and soon remembers seeing the investigation files in Ji-woong's envelope back in our premiere week. Before Soon can fully dwell on this recollection, Cheolgyu waters down the conversation. But her suspicion that he knows more than he's letting on increases when she remembers that he asked her about AWOL intern last week, and that was before anyone at work even knew the man was missing. Myung-duk's investigation into Cheolgyu reveals that Mr. Hospital Director is an upstanding pillar of the community, except for a little underground rumor that he killed his wife. Of course, he did. Apparently, she was found dead in a motel after she tried to run off with another man, but there was no evidence tying Cheolgyu to the crime. The motel went out of business afterwards and was renovated into a residential building where Ji-woong currently lives. Oh! Now the haunted apartment makes sense. Speaking of apartments, the detective supplying Ji-woong with investigation files drops off a list of missing persons in the 2000s, which Ji-woong plans to look over at home. The problem is, our heroine suspects there's an Im-soon on the list, so she drops by his house for an "I'm sorry for destroying your door locks the other day" visit. Mi-jin is armed with food and alcohol and a belly full of hangover drinks in a bid to get Ji-woong drunk and get rid of the Im-soon page on the list. An excellent plan, really, if only our prosecutor did not have a high alcohol tolerance. Hehe. In the battle to ruin both their livers, Ji-woong loosens up and admits he liked Mi-jin from the start, or so our Delulu heroine assumes. Because going by his flashbacks during the conversation, the statement could also be translated as "I liked it" from the start. The "it" in question being his interactions with her mom. LOL. According to Ji-woong, most people have a pitiful reaction when they hear that he's an orphan, but not Mom. She didn't see it as a big deal or a flaw, and he is really grateful for that, as evidenced by his little thank you gifts in the returned side dish containers. Ji-woong is ready to call it a night, but Mi-jin still has to complete her mission, and she accidentally breaks a plate in the process of extending her stay in his house. Oops. Mi-jin cuts her finger on one of the broken pieces, and Ji-woong has to get the first aid kit from inside. Seizing the opportunity, she goes through the missing persons list, and it turns out the name she saw was Im-sook, not Soon. Phew. As Ji-woong wraps her finger with a band-aid, Mi-jin asks for the consequence of an alcohol-influenced action, and Mr. Prosecutor replies that it's a reduced sentence depending on whether the incident is an accident or not. Then, "This isn't an accident," Mi-jin declares before pressing her lips to his. And on this dead fish note, the first half of the drama comes to an end. Miss Night and Day continues to move along with a nice pace, juggling the comedy and mystery with an enjoyable rhythm. The drama is clearly not in a hurry to solve any of its multiple cases, but it does reveal new information each week. This week we learned that Ji-woong's mom was a witness in the missing women's case, as she saw something in an alley behind Seohan Bank, where the real Soon used to work. But she was too scared to give a statement. When she finally summoned the courage to speak with the detective in charge, he was strong-armed into fetching the precinct's chief from a minor car crash instead. Unfortunately, by the time his partner, our detective intern, arrived at her location, the killer had gotten there first. Deference to higher-ups against one's wishes is clearly a thing among the workforce in K-drama societies, and I'm glad Soon called out the nonsense when the deputy chief informed the interns about the company dinner. If only someone had done something similar 20-something years ago, maybe an innocent woman wouldn't have lost her life. Speaking of 20-something years ago, it turns out that Mi-jin and Ji-woong first met when her mom was handing out missing persons flyers for her aunt outside the police station. And he was on his usual pilgrimage to the station looking for answers to his mom's case. LOL. For one, it's sad enough that he can only protect the female lead from afar or from his vantage point at the window of his new assistant secretary to the deputy chief office, but to be KO'd by the famous childhood connection trope? How tragic! Oh well, such is the price to pay for being a K-drama second male lead.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our dive into the world of Korean dramas, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment with your favorite K-drama or any recommendations you have for us. Stay tuned for more exciting videos, and see you in the next one.